Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today we're diving deep into January 2026. And I have to tell you, this is not just another January. This is the month that sets the stage for the most transformative year of our lifetime. In this video, I'm going to walk you through January almost day by day. I'm going to be looking at the major transits, aspects, and planetary movements with the exact dates, and I will provide degrees as well in some cases. And then we will be looking at your specific sun sign, so I will break it down what this means in your everyday life, your relationships, or your career, your money, or your spiritual journey. And here's the thing. January ends with one of the rarest planetary ingresses we'll ever experience. Neptune entering Aries for the first time in 165 years. So grab your calendar, take some notes, and let's map out your January 2026 together. Before I go into the day-by-day breakdown, let me give you the overview, because context is everything. January 2026 is what I call a preparation month and a transition month. We begin with all the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Sun in Capricorn, creating this grounded, practical, let's get things done energy. But by the end of the month, Mercury, Venus, and Mars have all shifted into Aquarius, completely transforming the vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And here's what makes this month extraordinary. First, we have Saturn at the very last degrees of Pisces all month long. Saturn moves from 26 degrees to 28 degrees Pisces through January. Saturn had been in Pisces since March 2023, teaching us lessons about spirituality, compassion, boundaries with the formless, and mastering our emotions. January represents the final exam. Whatever spiritual lessons you've been learning since 2023, January is when you demonstrate mastery. In real life, this looks like finally getting or setting healthy boundaries with that energy draining friend or family member. It's finishing that creative or spiritual project you've started years ago. It's realizing you can be compassionate without being a martyr. Second, we have the Neptune also sitting at the very end of Pisces, preparing for its historic shift into Aries on January 26th. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. That's 14 years. For many of you watching this, Neptune has been in Pisces your entire adult life. Neptune in Pisces brought us the rise of social media, filtered reality, increased addiction and escapism, but also massive spiritual awakening, meditation going mainstream, the spiritual but not religious movement. All of that, Neptune in Pisces. On January 26th, Neptune enters Aries for the first time in 165 years. None of us have experienced this. This is once in multiple lifetimes astrology. And third, we have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer all month. Jupiter moves backward from 21 degrees to 17 degrees Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer at its absolute strongest, but it's retrograde, which means the expansion is internal rather than external. This is the month for reviewing your emotional growth, reevaluating home and family matters, and going deeper into what truly makes you feel secure. Fourth, Uranus stations direct on January 30th at 27 degrees Taurus. Uranus has been retrograde since September 2025, asking us to internally review our values, finances, and material security. On January 30th, Uranus starts its preparation for the direct motion, and we can start implementing the changes we've been contemplating. And fifth, Pluto is moving direct through early Aquarius, continuing its 20-year transformation of collective consciousness, technology, and power structures. So that's the setup. Now let's go week by week and day by day. So we begin 2026 with heavy Capricorn energy. The Sun is in Capricorn until the 19th, and all three personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are in Capricorn at the start of the month. The Sun is here until January 19th. Mercury and Mars, January 20th, January 23rd, and Venus up until January 18th. This is maximum Capricorn energy, ambition, discipline, structure, responsibility, building things that last. Mercury in Capricorn. January 2nd to January 20th. Mercury governs how we think, communicate, learn, and process information. In Capricorn, Mercury is practical, strategic, realistic, and focused on results. So from January 1st, 2nd to January 19th, 20th, your thinking will be goal-oriented and practical, focused on what actually works, strategic about time and resources, and less emotional and more logical. Then Venus is in Capricorn. On January 1st, Venus is already there. It's been there since December. It is now at 11 degrees and moves out of Capricorn by January 17th, January 18th. Venus governs love, relationships, beauty, values, money. In Capricorn, Venus is mature, practical, loyal, and focused on commitment. So your approach to love is more serious and less frivolous. It's focused on long-term potential, appreciating reliability in partners, attracted to mature and accomplished people. And then finally, Mars in Capricorn throughout January up until the 23rd. This is about disciplined action. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It functions at its absolute best here. So Mars in Capricorn is like a seasoned general with a detailed battle plan. It's strategic, disciplined, enduring, ambitious, and unstoppable. So you will have incredible focus on long-term goals, stamina and endurance, strategic thinking, ability to delay gratification for bigger rewards. So for you, Aquarius, the Capricorn Stellium is in your 12th house of spirituality, subconscious, hidden matters, solitude. So this house also governs connection to the divine or the subconscious mind, your hidden enemies, self-sabotage, and generally behind the scenes work. For Aquarius rising, this stellium can indicate that there is very serious spiritual practice and inner work happening during this time. So you are thinking a lot about subconscious patterns and psychological healing. For example, You probably during this time can commit to or will commit to therapy or spiritual practice with discipline, or create a meditation routine, a journal about your dreams and patterns, and do the hard work of addressing self sabotage with professional help. For Aquarius Sun, your identity is expressed through spiritual discipline. You want to master your inner world before your next birthday. For example, this can see you work behind the scenes on a project, process past experiences through therapy, establish boundaries around your energy, and prepare for your birthday season by clearing psychological clutter. And for Aquarius Moon, your emotional security, you need emotional security during this time through spiritual practice and alone time. This can see you needing solitude to feel emotionally regulated. For example, you feel best when you have consistent quiet time, or so that you can create monitoring meditation routines to decline social obligations, or you feel like declining social obligations to recharge, and prioritize. Can see you prioritizing rest and reflection over busyness. On January 2nd, there is a full moon in Cancer at 13 degrees. The moon governs our emotions, instincts, subconscious patterns, nurturing needs, sense of safety and security, and how we process feelings. It represents our inner world, our relationship with money, family, our need for comfort, and our emotional responses to life. Full moons specifically bring illumination, culmination, release, and emotional clarity. What was hidden becomes visible, and situations reach their peak. So, the first major lunar event of 2026 is this one. This full moon is significant because it's the wolf moon, it's the traditional name for January's full moon. It's conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. It is a big orb though. But Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer does amplify this energy. It opposes the Sun in Capricorn, so your work, home, public, private achievement, nurturing tension. Full moons bring things to light, create emotional peaks, and often bring situations to completion. So, in general, what you might experience for all of us would be strong emotions about family or home situations, realizations about what you need to feel emotionally secure, family gatherings or important conversations, home related news or decisions, and heightened intuition and emotional sensitivity. This full moon asks us all, what do you need to feel at home in your own life? So, this full moon in Cancer on January 3rd is at 13 degrees Cancer. So, the Sun is at 13 degrees Capricorn, opposing the Moon at 13 degrees Cancer. Jupiter at 20 degrees Cancer, also here, conjuncts the Moon within a 7-degree orb. So you will be most effective if you have planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Cancer, as the Moon is conjunct those planets. So you can see emotional culmination, family home revelations. If you are 11 to 15 degrees Capricorn, the Sun is conjunct this full moon. So career, public life illuminated there. If you have any planets or angles at 11 to 15 degrees Aries, there is a square now from both the Sun and the Moon, so there will be some tension between independence and family versus career demands, and same for Libra. 11 to 15 degrees, the square from both sun and the moon can see some relationship needs versus home work balance challenge there. And if you are anything between 17, 18 degrees to 22 degrees Cancer, Jupiter is also conjunct this full moon for you within a 7-degree orb. So you can see blessings in your home, family, and emotional abundance in general. Now, if you also have planets at between 18 and 22 degrees Cancer specifically, Jupiter is directly conjunct them during this full moon, creating an extra blessing in home, family, and emotional realm. So this can see some beautiful manifestations through family gatherings, home improvement gifts or opportunities, emotional healing that feels miraculous, family member bringing good news, or feeling abundantly supported and loved. Your home situation can be improving significantly at this date. Pregnancy, if that's your path, it's also possible. Family, financial support, or inheritance in general. For you, Aquarius, the full moon at 13 degrees in Cancer is in your sixth house of your work and health routines. So this is a period where your work situation culminates or health matters clarify, your daily routine peaks. Jupiter also blesses, so there could be a job offer or promotion in daily work, or your health improves, or your routine supports you beautifully on this date. So, for example, you can have a work project that completes successfully, or a health diagnosis brings relief and a path forward, or basically finding your perfect daily routine. So if we now move on to the second and third week of January, so let's say from the 18th to the 21st of January, that's when the great shift begins. So let's start first with January 18th. There is a new moon in Capricorn. New moons mark fresh starts, new beginnings, intention setting, and planting seeds for the future. When the sun and the moon align in the sky, it creates a powerful portal for manifesting, initiating projects, and committing to new paths. New moons are about potential, possibilities, and consciously choosing what you want to grow in your life over the next lunar cycle. This is extraordinarily significant because 20 degrees Capricorn is an anaretic degree. It carries wisdom of entire sign. New moons represent new beginnings. It's the best time to set intentions. And final Capricorn new moon before the sun enters in Aquarius the next day. So set intentions around career goals, long-term legacy, structures and systems, responsibility, authority, achievement. This new moon says to all of us, build something that will last. For you, Aquarius, the new moon is in Capricorn is in your 12th house of spirituality, subconscious, surrender, endings, hidden realms. This new moon invites you into the sacred space of solitude and spiritual practice. Whether you're an Aquarius rising preparing for your solar return, an Aquarius sun integrating the past year, or an Aquarius moon processing deep emotions, this is about inner work before outer manifestation. You are planting seeds now in the invisible realm. So, this can mean you may be committing to a daily meditation practice using a structured program. For example, starting with 10 minutes every morning using an app, um, or you begin therapy with a specific goal of addressing subconscious patterns affecting your relationship or career. Or you can start a dream journal, recording your dreams immediately upon waking and looking for patterns. Um, Regardless, you can be your schedule will include, a day of solitude each month or integration and reflection going forward. On the same day, on January 18th, Venus enters Aquarius, leaves Capricorn and enters Aquarius. Venus governs love, relationships, attraction, beauty, pleasure, values, money, art, and what brings us joy. It shows how we give and receive affection, what we find beautiful, how we relate to others, and what we value most. Venus represents our capacity for connection, harmony, aesthetics, and the quality of sweetness in life. Basically, everything that makes life worth living. This is a dramatic shift in the energy of love, relationships, and values. So Venus was in Capricorn up to January 17th, when it showed us a serious, committed, practical, traditional, mature way of living. With Venus in Aquarius from January 18th, we become or start seeing a more free spirited, unconventional, friendship oriented, independent, and innovative way of life. Practically after January 18th, there is a desire for more freedom in general for all of us in partnerships, attraction to unique people, intellectual connection mattering more than chemistry. So for you, Aquarius, when Venus on the 18th of January moves into Aquarius, it moves into your first house of yourself, identity, appearance, personal magnetism, and generally your approach to life. This is your Venus transit, Aquarius. Maximum charm and magnetism. Whether you're an Aquarius rising, glowing with authentic beauty, an Aquarius sun embodying your values visibly, or an Aquarius moon feeling emotionally aligned with self expression, you are irresistibly attractive by being yourself. People are drawn to your uniqueness and authenticity without you even trying, beginning January 18th. So, to give you a specific example, you can experiment with your appearance in ways that feel authentic. So, get an unusual haircut or distinctive clothing style, or just the confidence of being yourself unapologetically. You attract romantic attention effortlessly, often from unexpected sources. People comment that you seem different or magnetic. You invest in yourself not to fit in, but to express more fully. Your presence becomes a statement of your values. If single, this is an excellent time to date. If partnered, your relationship benefits from you being more yourself. And then one day after that, um, on January 19th, Sun will enter Aquarius. As you can see now, almost all planets have moved back from Capricorn into Aquarius. The sun governs our core identity, the life force, vitality, ego, conscious will, and sense of purpose. It represents who we are in essence, our creative self expression, and how we shine in the world. The sun shows what gives us energy, what we are here to become, and the qualities we're developing throughout our lifetime. It's our central organizing principle. It's the I am at the heart of our being. Sun shifts from Capricorn into Aquarius, from traditional to revolutionary. Aquarius Sun energy speaks about innovation, progress, community, individuality, technology, freedom, intellectual stimulation. And so, for you, Aquarius, when the Sun enters Aquarius, again enters the same, your first house, or your self identity, appearance, and life direction, joining Venus there. Um, so, if you're Aquarius rising, this is your birthday season, and the sun is literally illuminating your entire sense of self. You're stepping into a new year with renewed clarity about who you are and where you're heading. Aquarius Sun experiences a powerful alignment with your core identity, feeling confident in your uniqueness and are ready to pursue goals that reflect your authentic vision. Aquarius Moon, feel emotionally recharged and connected to your individuality, needing to honor your unconventional nature and trust your instincts about personal reinvention. So, to give you an example, you can update your wardrobe to reflect your authentic style rather than trends. Maybe dyeing your hair, getting a piercing, or simply dressing in ways that feel genuinely you. And Venus comes, and the Sun comes here to support Venus in the same efforts. So, you can be setting personal goals for the year ahead that prioritize freedom, innovation, and community impact, not what others expect of you. You might start introducing yourself differently, claim a new title or identity like entrepreneur, artistic, or activist, or simply show up more confidently in spaces where you previously held back. Bottom line, people notice something's different about you. You're more self assured, less concerned with fitting in, and radiating an energy that says, "This is me, take it or leave it." And then on January 20th, we have the golden window for the Saturn Sextile Uranus. This has been active since December, I would say, with a very extended orb, say around 5 degrees orb, September 25th, and it will still going to continue to be felt until February 13th, give or take. But January 20th, it's very exact. The orb, it's very exact. Because Saturn is at 27 degrees. Is at 27 degrees Pisces, and Uranus is at 27 degrees Taurus. 27 degrees 32 minutes, 27 degrees 38 minutes. Very, very close. This is it. It's exact. Basically, what this represents for all of us is an opportunity for sustainable innovation, practical revolutionary and responsible changes, and structured creativity. So the key question here that we are being asked by this Saturn Sextile Uranus aspect is, what's one significant change I can make that's both revolutionary, Uranus, and responsible, Saturn? Now, for you, Aquarius, Saturn is in your second house of money and values, and on the 20th of January, it's a perfect exact sextile to Uranus in your fourth house of home and family. So, if you're Aquarius rising, this sextile connects your financial stability with home and family innovation. You are building sustainable income while making progressive changes to your living situation or family dynamics. Aquarius Sun expresses identity through financial choices that support an unconventional but stable home life. And Aquarius Moon finds emotional security when money management allows for both family commitments and personal freedom in your living environment. So, for example, you can create a realistic budget and savings plan that allows you to move, renovate, or upgrade your living situation in a way that reflects your values. Maybe installing solar panels, creating a home office, or relocating to a more aligned community. You might renegotiate rent with roommates fairly, establish family financial agreements that honor everyone's autonomy, or invest in your home's long term value with sustainable improvements. You're making responsible financial decisions that enable innovative living arrangements, understanding that economic sustainability and stability creates freedom for domestic experimentation. On January 20th, Mercury enters Aquarius. Mercury governs communication, thinking, learning, information processing. It also governs short trips, siblings, and the exchange of ideas. It represents how our mind works, how we speak and write, how we learn and teach, and how we connect the dots. Mercury is the messenger, the translator, the networker. It's about gathering information, making connections, and expressing what we know. Mercury shifts from Capricorn strategic thinking to Aquarius innovative thinking. So from January 20th until February 7th, Mercury in Aquarius is asking us to think outside the box, to be interested in science and technology, to be direct and authentic communicators, to be inventive problem solvers. Now, specifically, if you are an Aquarius with 25 to 29 degrees planets or ascendant, you will be most affected by this beautiful sextile from Saturn in your second house of finances and money to Uranus in your fourth house of your home. So you will be feeling this the most. Financial structure and resource management, your second house, enables innovative home changes or emotional foundation in your fourth house. You will definitely be feeling this. Apologies, so let's just move the date. It doesn't really make any difference, but the date also, it's the 20th of January. So to give you another specific example, Aquarius rising, 27 degrees in particular, you've been disciplined with money, budgeting, savings, building financial stability while Saturn was in your second house for the past 2.5 years. Around January 20th, this financial foundation enables a home breakthrough now. Buying property, renovating in an unconventional way, moving to a location that truly feels like home, or your financial stability, allowing you to restructure family life, like working less to be more present or supporting a family member's dream. The resources you have built with Saturn here in your second house, now will be funding the innovative home and emotional life with Uranus in your fourth. So for you, Aquarius, Mercury on the 20th of January enters your first house, enters Aquarius. Your first house of self, identity, appearance, and life direction, joining, let's have a look, joining Sun and Venus already in there. So if you're Aquarius rising, Mercury is in your sign and your mental clarity is at maximum power. You're thinking brilliantly about who you are and expressing yourself with unusual authenticity and directness. Aquarius Sun experiences a perfect alignment of identity and communication. Your words match your essence exactly. If you're Aquarius Moon, you process emotions through self-reflection and you feel fulfilled when you can articulate your thoughts clearly and advocate for yourself intelligently. And this is what can manifest for you after the January 20th when Mercury enters your sign, so, or your moon sign. Specifically, if you're, let's think about an example or two. You are articulating your goals, your values, and identity with exceptional clarity. Maybe you're updating your biology, or writing a personal manifesto, or simply explaining yourself more effectively in conversations. You're coming up with innovative solutions to personal challenges and communicating your needs directly without apology. Your mind is sharp and fast now. You're making connections others miss and express complex ideas simply. Or you might journal intensively about your life direction, research topics related to personal development and analytical rigor, or engage in conversations where you're finally saying what you've always thought but never expressed. Your voice feels powerful and authentic now. And now moving on to the final week of January. Final days. January 23rd is basically from January 23rd to January 26th is the Aquarius conversions and Neptune's historic shift. On January 23rd, it is Mars who enters Aquarius. Mars governs action, drive, energy, passion, anger, desire, assertion, and how we pursue what we want. It represents our warrior spirit, our physical vitality, our courage, competitiveness. Mars shows how we take initiative, how we defend ourselves, how we express anger, and how we channel our willpower. Is the planet of action, motivation, and forward momentum. Pure drive and desire made manifest. So Mars shifts from disciplined Capricorn to rebellious Aquarius. So Mars in Aquarius from January 23rd to March 4th. It's action motivated by ideals, fighting for causes, independent approach to goals, innovation in how you pursue your desires. For all of us, it is a completely transformed vibe from traditional to revolutionary. And now all personal planets are in Aquarius. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So for you, Aquarius, when Mars also on the 23rd of January, when it enters Aquarius, it goes into your first house. This is your Mars transit, Aquarius, maximum drive and personal power. Whether you're an Aquarius rising, embodying fierce independence, an Aquarius sun, asserting identity boldly, or an Aquarius moon, emotionally charged with revolutionary energy, you are motivated to be yourself unapologetically and pursue your goals with electric intensity. Conformity is impossible now. Authenticity is essential. So, for example, you during this time can be making very bold personal changes. Like, we just mentioned for Sun and Venus there, you can be making personal changes on your personal appearance, like cutting your hair dramatically or changing your style or physically transforming through intense workouts or diet experiments. You assert yourself in situations where you've been passive before. You're speaking up, setting boundaries, and refusing to dim yourself. And you have Venus and the Sun and Mercury helping you with the communication style and your charm and your personal will. So you start projects that you've been thinking about for years now. You can be taking action impulsively but effectively. You might alienate some people by being more yourself, but you're okay with that. Your energy is high, impatience is high, and tolerance for BS is non existent. And now, on January 26th, the Neptune enters Aries. This is a historic game changer. This is a once in 165 years historic event. Now, Neptune. It governs spirituality, dreams, imagination, illusions, compassion, transcendence, surrender, mysticism, and the dissolution of boundaries. It represents our connection to the divine, our capacity for unconditional love, our artistic inspiration, and our desire to merge with something greater than ourselves. Neptune can be both the highest spiritual vision and the deepest delusion. It's where we seek meaning beyond the material world. Neptune enters Aries at 0 degrees for the first time since 1875. This is a fundamental shift. Until now, Aries was in Pisces, and it was saying dissolve your ego. Well, Neptune in Aries will now say take spiritual action. Neptune in Pisces was saying surrender to the flow. Neptune in Aries is now saying be a warrior for your beliefs. Or Neptune in Pisces was saying we are all one. Neptune in Aries is now saying have courage to pursue your dreams. What January 26 means for all of us, we will all feel something shift, a sudden courage, a calling to fight for a cause, or impatience with passive practices. Now, for you, Aquarius, when Neptune enters Aries on January 26th, it moves into from your second house into your third house of communication, learning, mind, local community, voice, ideas. Neptune inspires your voice and ideas with visionary courage. So, whether you're an Aquarius rising, becoming a spiritual messenger, an Aquarius sun, fighting identity through inspired communication, or an Aquarius moon emotionally activated by channeling truth, you are being called to share spiritual vision boldly. The next 13 years make you a courageous communicator of new consciousness. For example, you begin writing, speaking, teaching, or creating content that shares spiritual truth with fierce clarity. Not passive inspiration, but calls to action. Or your communication style becomes prophetic and direct, unafraid of controversy when sharing what you know to be true. You might receive downloads of information or insight that you feel channeled, and you courageously share these publicly. Your local community becomes a testing ground for spiritual activism, speaking at city council meetings, organizing neighbors, or teaching workshops that combine spiritual practice with concrete action. Now, more specifically, if you have 0 to 2 degrees Aquarius planets or angles, so there can be anywhere that form an angle, Neptune, but mainly if you have 0 to 2 degrees Aquarius planets, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or any other planets, Neptune sextiles from Aries. It sextiles you. This is a harmonious aspect. Your innovative humanitarian vision receives spiritual inspiration. Technology and spirituality merge now in your work. Communities you build have spiritual purpose. Specifically, Aquarius rising 0 to 2 degrees, you are inspired now, and you feel that most than any other Aquarius. And you're inspired to create spiritual community online, to use technology for awakening, like apps, podcasts, virtual groups, to innovate in spiritual teaching, or to fight for collective causes with spiritual motivation. Your genius ideas flow from divine source. You attract soul tribe through your authentic vision now. Throughout the entire month of January, Uranus has been a retrograde in Taurus. And at the end of the month, it's starting to prepare for its direct station in Taurus. Uranus governs revolution, innovation, sudden change, awakening, rebellion, independence, technology, and liberation. It represents breakthroughs, genius insights, unconventional thinking, and the drive to break free from limitation. Uranus disrupts the status quo, bringing unexpected events that shake us awake and force evolution. It's the planet of progress, individuality, and a radical authenticity. Change happens suddenly, but leads to freedom. Uranus now is at its final degrees in its 7-year journey in Taurus. It's been retrograding since September last year. It's now getting ready to station direct. It will happen exactly at the beginning of February. But that we can start feeling its direct motion effects. And what that will bring is basically a forward movement that it's activating in finances, values, material resources, technology, and lifestyle, which is what Taurus represents. Changes you can now implement, all of us in general, while Uranus is getting ready to move direct, are new jobs, investment strategies, lifestyle changes, and technology upgrades. Now, Uranus will be retrograding the entire month in your fourth house of home and family. Uranus retrograde here brings internal revolution for you, Aquarius. Internal revolution about home, family, roots, emotional foundation, living situation, finalizing home changes. Station direct next month, home changes will start manifesting, and maybe the trigger will be or can be the Saturn Uranus sextile on the 20th of January. But for sure, this is on the stars for everyone. For example, the decision you can all be making a decision to move, or a family dynamic clarity comes up, emotional foundation shifts. You're basically now understanding what home actually means. Now let's have a look at Jupiter. Jupiter is also, let's have a look, Jupiter here. It's also been retrograding the entire month in Cancer. Jupiter governs expansion, growth, wisdom, optimism, faith, abundance, higher learning, and the search for meaning. It represents our capacity for hope, generosity, philosophical understanding, and the principle that life is fundamentally benevolent. Jupiter shows where we seek to grow, what we believe in, how we find meaning, and our relationship with luck and opportunity. When a retrograde, Jupiter turns growth inward, developing internal wealth, wisdom, and faith rather than external expansion. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but it's being retrograding, so it's about internal expansion. What you're experiencing, what you can be experiencing, or all of us can be experiencing during this time, is internal emotional growth, or reviewing home and family matters, building internal security. The blessings are happening inside ourselves this month. So, in general, Jupiter, the most activated degrees this month are from 17 to 21 degrees, because Jupiter is retrograde from 21 to 17 degrees Cancer throughout January 2026. Until it will station direct. It will continue its retrograde motion during next month as well. So let's dive a little bit deeper into understanding Jupiter retrograde. When Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and wisdom, it's retrograde, the growth turns inward. Instead of external opportunities and blessings, you are experiencing internal expansion, physical deepening, emotional wisdom, spiritual growth. Jupiter in Cancer retrograde specifically means reviewing your emotional needs, your family relationships, your sense of home, and what truly makes you feel secure. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. This means Jupiter functions at its absolute best in Cancer. Even retrograde, Jupiter in Cancer brings blessings, but they're internal, private, and emotional rather than external and visible. This entire month is perfect for emotional healing, family reconciliation, inner work on security issues, and understanding what home truly means to you. Don't expect external expansion just yet. That comes after Jupiter goes direct in March. January is about internal emotional abundance. All month, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer brings internal blessings like emotional intelligence, This can see you understanding feelings deeply, becoming emotional wiser or emotionally wiser. It can bring family healing, internal shifts in family relating, even without external conversations. It can bring home appreciation, gratitude for where you live. It can bring nurturing capacity, so you can become better at caring for self and others. It can bring you security, wisdom, understanding what truly creates security for you. It can be about feeling connected to your ancestral lineage, or in general, it's inner wealth. It's about your emotional abundance regardless of the externals. So use January for internal work. External manifestations comes in March when Jupiter goes direct. So for you Aquarius, Jupiter retrograde throughout the month uh, is in your sixth house of your daily routine, your health, work environment, service, and generally body mind connection. Jupiter retrograde in your wellness sector creates internal expansion of wealth and daily practices. Whether you're an Aquarius rising, reviewing your routines, an Aquarius sun, finding identity through developing sustainable habits, or an Aquarius moon, emotionally balanced by examining self care, you're growing through refining daily life. Big routine changes await for you. Internal habits develop now. So, for example, you're experimenting with different health and wellness approaches to see what actually works for you or for your body, trying various diets, exercise routines, or productivity systems, and paying attention to what makes you feel best. You might gain insight into health issues through research or practitioners, understanding root causes rather than just treating the symptoms. Work routines are examined now. You notice which habits serve you and which drain you. The daily practices you establish now, even the small ones, will compound into significant well being when Jupiter goes direct. Most affected Aquarian people between 17 and 21 degrees. So if you are really in between these degrees, especially Aquarius rising, but Sun, Moon, or any other planets, Jupiter retrograding in your sixth house of daily work and health brings emotional wisdom in daily life, and you will be feeling this the most in January. Health is now connected to your emotional being, your work environment. It's about emotional understanding as well. So, for example, you can be understanding stress health connection, your daily emotional routines, work life emotional balance, and service from emotional abundance. Now, throughout the month, we're also having Saturn in Pisces at its final degrees. Saturn governs structure, discipline, responsibility, maturity, limitations, time, authority, and mastery through effort. It represents our relationship with reality, hard work, long term commitment, and the principle that growth requires patience and dedication. Saturn shows where we must mature, what we're building over time, and where we face our greatest tests. It's the wise teacher who demands excellence. It's the taskmaster who creates lasting achievement through disciplined effort. Saturn is now completing a 2.5 year journey through Pisces, and it will enter Aries next month. We are all now being asked to complete our spiritual projects, to master boundaries with compassion, and to release martyrdom patterns. So, Aquarius, Saturn is in your second house of personal finances, resources, self-worth, your values, your material security. Saturn's final month in your financial sector completes lessons about worth and resources. So whether you're an Aquarius rising, mastering financial discipline, an Aquarius sun, finding identity through clarified values, or an Aquarius moon, emotionally secure through material stability, you've built sustainable relationship with money in this past 2.5 years. Next month, Saturn moves to communication. Now you demonstrate financial maturity. So, for example, you've restructured your finances over the past 2.5 years. You paid off your debt, built savings, created sustainable income streams, or clarified what you truly value versus what society told you to want. You might be completing final financial obligations, settling into income level that reflects your worth, or making final purchases that align with authentic values. Your self-worth is no longer tied to bank balance, but to internal knowing. You've learned to live within your means while investing in what matters for you. Financial foundation is now solid. And let's have a look at Pluto now. Pluto, again, all month long, it will be in Aquarius. Pluto governs transformation, death and rebirth, power, the unconscious, obsession, and the process of deep fundamental change. It represents what must die so something new can be born, where we experience power and powerlessness, and our capacity for profound psychological transformation. Pluto digs beneath the surface to expose truth, eliminates what's no longer viable, and catalyzes complete metamorphosis. It's the planet of evolution through crisis, of intensity through healing, and empowerment through facing our shadows. Transforming collective consciousness, technology, power structures throughout from 2026 to 2043. So the themes of Pluto in Aquarius in general is technology's role in society, power in networks, collective movements. Now, Aquarius, Pluto is in your first house of self, identity, physical body, life direction, personal power. This is your Pluto transit, Aquarius. Complete death and rebirth of self over the next 19 years. So whether you're an Aquarius rising, experiencing total identity transformation, an Aquarius sun finding authentic core through destruction and recreation, or an Aquarius moon emotionally transformed by becoming yourself, you're being completely remade. The person you were will not survive. The person you're becoming is definitely more powerful. So, for example, how is it that you can transform fundamentally? Well, it's your appearance, your identity, your life direction, everything, really. Early in this transit, you might experience crises that destroy old self concept. You become powerful, magnetic, and potentially intense. Your life purpose becomes clear through stripping away everything that's inauthentic. You might change your name, appearance, career, location, relationship, anything that doesn't reflect your true essence. You become obsessed with authenticity and transformation, possibly helping others through their own metamorphosis. By the end of this transit, you will be completely different and infinitely more yourself. Specifically, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or any other planets in between 2 and 4 degrees, you are the most activated degrees during this time. Pluto obviously conjunct your planet or sign, your sign. This is your identity. You are definitely going to feel this now. Your identity, death, and rebirth. Your total transformation of self and community. You're basically shedding old skin, feeling called to mission larger than self. Power struggles with systems, physical changes reflecting inner transformation, relationships ending that don't fit new self, intense dreams and psychological insights, feeling simultaneously empowered and vulnerable. This is the most transformative transit of your life for these degrees, a multi-year death and rebirth process. And finally, the North and South Node. The North Node is in Pisces, and the South Node is in Virgo. The lunar nodes are the points where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic, marking our soul's evolutionary path. The North Node shows where we're growing, the new skills, the attitudes, and experiences we are meant to develop in this lifetime. The South Node represents our comfort zone, natural talents and past patterns that we must release to evolve. The nodes reveal our karmic direction, what we are moving toward, the North, and what we're moving away from, the South Node. They show the fundamental tension between comfortable habits and necessary growth. So the North Node is about surrender, compassion, creativity, and faith. The South Node, it's about releasing perfectionism, overanalysis, and control. Collectively, we are asked to trust more, control less, feel more, analyze less, due to the nodes being in Pisces and Virgo. That would be a general understanding. Now, let's have a look for you, Aquarius. Your North Node is in your second house, Pisces, and your South Node is in your 8th house of Virgo. Your evolution is from control transformation, 8th house, to trusting abundance. Your soul's growth involves releasing perfectionist control of shared resources and transformation to embrace faith in personal abundance. Whether you're an Aquarius rising, learning to value yourself, an Aquarius sun, finding identity through self-worth, or an Aquarius moon, emotionally fulfilled by material simplicity, you're being called to trust divine provision and release obsessive management of others' resources. You are enough. For example, you're learning to stop analyzing shared finances, intimacy dynamics, and psychological patterns, instead developing faith in your own value and ability to provide for yourself. You might simplify your financial life, trusting that what you need will come rather than obsessively managing investments and debts. Your self worth grows as you release the need to prove yourself through depth and transformation. You're discovering that the true abundance comes from trusting yourself and the universe, not from perfectly controlling shared resources or managing everyone's psychology. And that's January 2026 for you. Quick recap of your power dates. January 3rd, full moon emotions peak. January 18th, new moon, set your intentions. January 20th, Saturn Sextile Uranus, your golden window for sustainable change. January 26th, Neptune Enters Aries, once in 165 years. Feel that shift. January 30th, Uranus is preparing to move direct after months of retrograde. It changes finally move forward. If you want a full deep dive, 90 minutes plus covering your entire 2026, link is in the description and pinned in the comment. Drop your rising sign below, hit like if this helped, subscribe for February's forecast, and remember, the stars don't control you, they inform you. What you do with this energy is up to you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.